There, Chica. There. Come sit with me while we wait for your dad to get all the technical stuff.
You girls start chatting.
Nobody's here yet. We have nobody to talk to. Right, Stella?
Talk to yourself.
So what's new? How many different pieces of jewelry do you think you can wear for in Vegas?
Why do you say that?
Because I know you wear something different every night.
We're in the Marissa until the Natasha comes. Hello? I'm up too high because we're sitting and I'm never used to sitting. Hello, everybody. How are you in TV land? Today I have the beautiful Stella G with me, and I also have Mr. Kehrig.
And Matt.
Why everybody's really here. Hi, Laura. Hi, Tiffs. Hey, Crystal. Hi, Susan. Hi, Ika. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Hey, JT.
Jamie.
No, it's JT.
Is that Jen?
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Jennifer. What's up?
Can you guys believe this crown? I have only wore this crown one other time. I mean, I tried it on in the hotel, of course, once we got it, but I only wore it for one other video. Hi, Cheryl. Hello, ladies. I'm waiting for Michael to get all the messages out so everybody knows we're here. And then what we wanted to do is, because we do so many of the sales, it's been since actually January since I did a video talking about me and my family. And the reason, hey, Liz. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Liz. It's been since, hey, Christina. Hi, Lola. It's been since January since we did anything talking about our family, why I started this journey, where the journey has taken us. I know. Can you imagine what they're going to give me this year? He made cannoli cream today. Hey, Sally. Hi, Mandy.
Hey, Jenny. Caroline. Oh.
Caroline. Thank you. You guys, we are giving something. My story may help somebody else. So we are going to give one of me. If you guys are brand new and you don't know me, my name's Marissa. Marissa LaRock Kehrig. I'm an independent consultant with Paparazzi. I actually had won a Z collection this past year. This is now retired. And I wanted to do a story and kind of let you guys know where I came from, which I had very humble beginnings in this business. Hi, Christina. And I'm waiting for Michael, because you know he's going to try to make excuses. He never comes on the camera. Hi, Sally. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Anita. Hi, Lucinda. It was a very relaxing day today. I am loving my life. Linda, how are you doing today? It is like super awesome sauce here, except we're supposed to get flash floods. Who knows, though? Hi, Ashley. So we will go ahead and we will be giving Marissa away at when the video's over for those who have sprinkled the love everywhere. Hello, Lori. From Kansas. What's it like in Kansas? California. My goodness, I've been praying all day. I was worried. Aw, thank you, Liz. She is a little beauty queen. We're a little silly in this house. My hair is a mixture of very raindrop and loveliness outside. That we were supposed to get flash floods, but I won't complain because those poor people in California, did you hear they're about to get a tsunami too? Hi, Sue Rose. Aw, thank you. You coming?
Yeah. Oh, should I bring this and have it on the side in case?
Why? Why don't you use the laptop or the iPad? Where's the iPad?
It's over here.
You get an iPad for reaching a certain rank. And I said to Michael when it arrived, I go, look, you have a new iPad. He goes, oh no, you'll use it. I've never used it. It's always been on Michael's side. Thank you, guys. I won you the other night. Thank you, guys. She is 15 years old, and she is going to be a sophomore.
Yeah. And
she actually is in the choir. She sings. She actually runs cross-country track. Who's your favorite artist, Stella?
Billie Eilish or Frank Sinatra, but Frank Sinatra first, and then Billie Eilish.
Girl.
And then, what are you gonna do when you grow up?
I want to be like an EMT.
Yeah. So hi guys. Thank you. So we'll go ahead and we will get started. Like I said, this is kind of a story of how I got started within the company, and where my journey has taken me, and the problems that I may have met along the way. And so Michael is actually going to come on too and talk a little bit about himself and what it has meant for our family. So I know that some of you guys may not have shopped with me before. I am such a proud mom. May not have shopped with me or seen me before, or maybe may have just seen my Z Collection necklace that's named after me. But I started with the company back in September of 2017. I ordered my kit at the end of August. My kit did not arrive until September. And prior to that, what had happened, where I found Paparazzi is this. They had a girl, Frank Sinatra, right after her dad.
Right.
So
Very well.
my husband, about almost 3.5 years now ago, was diagnosed with ALS. We went through a lot of health conditions. We went through a lot of trials and tribulations trying to get him diagnosed. At the time, my husband was a realtor. He made really good money. He was really good at what he did. And we had purchased a home together when we first got married, which we've only been married now for 6 years. Feels like we've been together a lifetime because I've known him
We've known each other forever.
since I was a kid. We're a very close family. And when my husband was sick and diagnosed, we were actually, the first signs of it were we were on like a honeymoon. We always discover that the only time we actually get away, and have time alone is when we get out of the state. And so my husband and I had actually traveled to Atlantic City. We were married, went to Vegas, and we thought maybe we should try Atlantic City and see what the comparison is. So we had gone to Atlantic City. It was one of the last nights there, and sometimes him and I have cigars, and we thought, what a great night. Hey, Lisa, what a great night to sit down on the beachfront and have a cigar and watch the sunset, right? So we both had sitting down on the beach, and when Michael went to get up after we had been there for a good hour or so, he had a stroke, and that was the first signs that we had of the illness. And I was like rushing to the boardwalk. We got him a bunch of aspirin. The left side of his body actually was dropped, and he had a very hard time coming forward. But that was the onset of everything. Through years, when we first would go, we would go to a doctor, and they would send us to another doctor, and they would send us to another doctor. And I'm sure you guys know, hopefully you don't have to, but how the medical industry is set up now. You can't get one thing done in one place. You have to go to multiple places to get the testing done and get referrals and everything else. It's not like it used to be. So we went through a big rigmarole and game of doing so. Meanwhile, we had a lot of health conditions that popped up along the way. We had no idea. He lost hearing in his left ear. He did recover from the stroke, but then he kept having this reoccurring ear infection. Well, it wasn't an ear infection. It was actually the nerves in his ear dying, which I could not touch his face. He had to move to the other side of the bed to sit on the other side of the bed of me because I couldn't even talk at him. It would hurt. And eventually what had happened was his hearing has gone down to like 10% in that ear. And it was really his nerves dying in his ear. Slowly but surely other things started to go on my husband, and we ended up actually in the hospital, or he ended up in the hospital for a very lengthy period of time. They put him on blood thinners. They thought that he had blood clots. The first time that they put them on him, it was a failure. And so here he had been on these blood clots medication, and we were here for Christmas. We had finally gotten him back after weeks.
I came home for Christmas.
Well, show them your face. Everybody wants to see you, and you've hidden the whole time.
So I came home for Christmas.
Yeah, come on, Michael.
Oh, I was in the hospital. Hi, everybody. I was in the hospital for a couple of weeks or whatever. And then, sit down, baby. And then, you can get back over here still, too. And I got them to let me out for Christmas. And because I had blood clots, like 2 in my leg, I think, at that point, right? So they sent me home on Eliquis, which was like, is one of those drugs. It's like when a new drug, you don't have to test your INR for it. So like, oh, it's great. You don't have to get tested, whatever. So couple days we're home. Christmas goes by,
and he's not telling me.
Right.
He's not telling me because he knows I would have taken him to the hospital.
Right. I wanted to get through. I wanted to have Christmas at home and not in the hospital. So I was having really bad chest pain and hard time breathing and everything. And I'm like, something else is wrong, right? So went back to the hospital at 27th or 28th, I think. I don't know. It's cold days for Christmas.
He was hanging it out because Stella does not reside with us. She resides with that girl, is what we reference her as.
She's with her mom. She's with her mom more than she's with us.
And so we get the kids for a lengthy time at Christmas, and Michael really wanted to take advantage of that time. And so he wasn't telling me about how bad his legs were, but his legs had basically swollen to Hulk size.
Oh, yeah. We called them
Hulk legs.
We literally
it was
called
bad.
them Hulk feet, man. They were bad. So we went to the hospital, chest pain, shortness of breath, and I kind of knew, I had like a pulmonary embolism, is what I figured.
Lisa's saying hi to you in the
Sure enough,
background,
hey
Stella.
Lisa. Oh, hi Lisa. Sure enough, they tested, they did a scan or whatever, and I had a clot in my lungs as well as clots in my legs. So the Eliquis obviously failed. They ended up putting me on good old Coumadin, which I'm still on now, which I test myself every week. The kids really enjoy poking my finger and making me bleed for some reason. So they all kind of fight over who gets to do that. So I have to test, but it's more accurate, and I know where my range is with as far as the blood clot. As far as my blood being thin in that. I don't have to screw out the Eliquis anymore. But anyway, that's the blood clot story, which is one of many.
So basically what happened is over the course of, once this disease started to take over the course of the next year and a half, I was left home alone without my husband, who is literally my best friend. We've always gotten along better when we are at home together, when we both worked full-time jobs.
We had the best time, just not to trouble. We had the best time just staying home together and doing really nothing specific. A lot of couples that I talk to would kill each other if they were home together all day. We do best when we're home together all day, just with each other 24/7. I know I probably get on her nerves a lot from time to time, but we're not the type of people kill each other when we're together. We do better when we're together all the time.
Absolutely. So I was heartbroken. I'd keep the kids busy, and then when it came time for bedtime, I would be putting them to bed. And during this time, somebody local to me had started selling this jewelry. And I would do anything. And if you guys know, sitting on a show, most people start as customers first. Not a lot of people go into this and decide that, they found Paparazzi, heard of it, and never had worn it or tried it. I do have 2 of those people on my team, but most people, they become addicted to it. And, it's awesome, fabulous, $5 jewelry, let's let a nickel free. And so I remember the one lady had invited me to her event, and she lived local to me. And I started watching the shows because 9 o'clock I put Michael, put the kids to bed, talk to Michael on the phone. It's not like I can be in the hospital room with him when the kids have school and I have to get them off.
Well, yeah, I was thinking, you can't just sit at the hospital 24/7 either.
Right.
I wanted you to. It's depressing to be there all the time.
So I really found this camaraderie with the girls that were watching the jewelry show with me, and it made me feel good. At first I was leery. I'm like, why would you sell $5 jewelry? How can you even make any money off of that? Is this stuff junk? And I didn't say anything to Michael, and I said, I can use $20 and spend it on it. And what's the difference if I pick out 4 pieces and I think this is trash? Then big deal. It was only $20. For $5, it was worth the risk. No risk, no reward, right? Well, Michael ended up in that state in the hospital. I think it was 36 days.
It was a long time.
36 days. Yeah. They couldn't get his blood work stable. And so...
Was it the gallbladder time too?
Yeah. And so I kept watching these videos, right? And I was every day this lady was dropping stuff off at my house. And then what happened is that she had messaged about, or left a thing up in her jewelry group about joining her team. And I was thinking about it. At the time, I had an eBay business. Prior to that, I worked for the Attorney Grievance Commission, which is a arm of the Supreme Court. We governed attorneys' law licenses. And I had gone strictly to eBay because we were having so many health problems. I had always run the eBay business in the background, only I started focusing more on it. And what we sold were Barbie shoes for $35. So rare, hard to find Barbie shoes for, Alice in Wonderland or,
I sold. I mean, when she first... This goes back to when we first started dating with the eBay and the Barbie shoes. But it's when she would tell me, she's like, I can sell these Barbie shoes for $3. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, let's see. And sure enough, I mean, she's selling
Dorothy Wizard of Oz, ruby red slippers. Let me tell you.
Ever since she was little, I've always known Marissa that if she says she's going to do something, she's going to do it, and to never really doubt her. So when she told me she was going to start selling $5 jewelry, I was all right, whatever, you know. She's like, I'm gonna get the biggest kit. I'm like, well, go big or go home, you know. I mean, I trusted her judgment, but I know Marissa, and I know that she, you know, she gives everything 110%. And I knew if she thought it was a good idea, it was a good idea. So.
Well, Michael came out of the hospital and
to a lot of paparazzi.
Well, I was bringing it to the hospital to show him when I'd go visit, and I'd be like, "Isn't this awesome? Can you believe this is $5? Like, wherever could I get this for $5?" You know, and Michael, being in real estate, we always focused on marketing trends. Like, if the market's up, and the market keeps gradually going up and going up and going up. And so I could see Michael would be irritated. He was at home, and he's like, "Are you on another jewelry show? But that's not the lady you watch." And you know,
I was like, "Well, you watching somebody else's show now?"
Right? And he was getting all cute. Can we not? Thank you. So he was getting, you know, he's kind of, you know, the men, the. He was kind of like, "Are you on another jewelry show?" And I'd be like, "Yeah," and he'd be like, and so, you know, after a while, when they posted, I'd never thought about joining. I've never sold a product in my life. I never thought about selling a product. When I was younger, I had quite a bit of money saved. I actually had thought about purchasing a Dairy Queen or purchasing a Hallmark store. Thank goodness I didn't, since they're all going out of business.
Yeah.
But I had never thought of actually working for a direct sales company. Hi, guys. I had never thought about working for a direct sales company and selling any kind of product. I had government benefits. You know, I have always, the last 10 years of my careers, hi, Marcus, we had been... I'd always been in the law industry. Michael had always worked real estate to some type of degree, whether he was doing title work or, you know,
selling it directly, whatever. It was all I knew, pretty much.
So when I saw the product and I realized that here I was at home, we started to get pressure from the outside. You know, Michael went back into the hospital, and well, welcome, Tanya. Michael had gone back into the hospital, and at the time that he went back into the hospital, I started to get a little worried, you know, because when he went to go get discharged, the doctor sat me down, and they brought in a whole team of people, a social worker, a therapist, and they sat down with me and they told me things are only going to get worse at this point. He is going to get progressively worse, and we would like to put him in a home. And at that point, I realized that things had to change. I wasn't letting my husband go into a home. I saw how miserable, how lost I was without him next to me. And I said, absolutely not. He's not going into a home. And they said, you know, he's going to need round-the-clock care. He's going to need somebody there full-time. At the time, I was working part-time in a law firm. And just because I was still running the eBay, but I was trying to bring in the extra income that we had lost. Michael had been off work for quite some time. And so I basically told him there is no way he is going into a home. I said, he's going to come home with me. And they said, you know, well, we can actually bring in a state agency and we could have them assess your home. And I said, well, you can bring them in. And that was kind of when I threw my big girl card around and said, you can bring them in. And I said, and I can tell you how many lawyers there are in Michigan, 42,500. And I said, there's one lawyer for every 250 people here. I said, guess what? I know about 10,000 of them personally because of my past job. And then I started citing them off, these big names.
I will say, not to interrupt, but I do keep interrupting. If it wasn't for Marissa's tenacity and not only her love, but for her tenacity and her strength of character and everything else, I would, number one, well, because of our faith in God, number one, I mean, he wakes us up every morning. But because of her tenacity and her strength of character, I wouldn't be here. And if I was here, I'd have a hole in my throat and one in my stomach, because the doctors were so quick to just, after different, you know, the Cliff Notes version, after different things, just covering themselves and, oh, let's put a trach in, oh, let's do the feeding tube, oh, let's do this. And Marissa was the one that fought for me. She's like, give him a chance, give him a chance, give him a chance. And had she not done that, you know, I may not be here.
Thank you, Lisa.
And I know that I probably wouldn't have the will that I have. You know, it's hard to get around being the way I am, but I really don't complain because I could have a hole in my throat and one in my stomach too. So I definitely know people have it much, much worse than me. So I'm sorry. I just had to throw that there.
When we finally did get Michael home, and it wasn't without me throwing the lawyer and I will sue you, and you are not taking my husband. You really want him to die, don't you? That they allowed it. When I finally did get him home, in my mind, I always have that pressing thinking of the future, right? And it's something that has been ingrained in both Michael and I. We are both alcoholics. We have both been through the 12-step AA program. I have 12 years of sobriety. Michael is almost to 7.
7 or 8, something like that.
Yeah.
7? Yeah.
And so they always tell you only think about today, don't think about tomorrow. Well, you can't help it, right? We've basically lost over $100,000 worth of income. At that time, we couldn't get him approved for disability. We kept going, and every time we'd have a new doctor appointment, then they would postpone giving him the disability. Well, we want to see what this doctor is going to say. Their own doctor investigated and said, oh, yes, you're definitely dying. There's no way you can work. You're definitely dying.
I mean, it's funny. We laugh about it
we
a lot.
do, because that's what we
but
go through life, and we want to laugh, you know? If you're going to live your life and all you can do is be upset and worry and never make a joke out of it, let me tell you, it is so therapeutic to do so.
Yeah.
So when Michael came home, and, you know, I'm thinking, wow, I've got a lot on my shoulders. I have this mortgage, our kids in private school, you know, the kids love this house. Like, it took a while. When you blend a family together and you put them together, it takes a while for them to get accustomed to everything. And when we got the house, they weren't all wild about it. And then about within a year, you know, by making moments here, they really loved it.
Everybody kind of settled in, found their own space, and, you know, anytime you move, and then especially when you're blending families and things, everybody had to find their own groove, you know, and we found that. And, you know, Marissa kept everything together. I mean, she really did. I mean, you guys know, the girls that are on her team, you guys know what she does for you, and that's beyond amazing. And just what she's done for us and our family, and, you know, with God's direction, of course, but what she's the glue, man. I mean, she is just really, I can't take any credit. She's just kept.
That's it. It's a team effort for
but she's
everything.
kept everything together. I mean, it's been amazing. If you knew, like, what we're telling you is like a microcosm of stuff that happened here, and it's just mind blowing, just how she's kept everything together. I'm very blessed. We're very blessed. We have each other.
When we came home, though, that was about when the time she had posted about selling this jewelry. And I thought, if I love this jewelry, I was spending money on it, because, you know, therapy is shopping, right? And so you guys know, when you don't feel good, you know, either I have a cannoli in my mouth, or I'm like literally going to buy something for me. And so I kept thinking in my head, well, it's only $5, you know, that's not a big deal. But then when Michael came home, reality set in. And I kept thinking about what we used to worry about with his job. Here we were, he had no job, you know, he couldn't work. It's not like he had no job. He had a job. He was really successful at it.
Yeah.
And we were sitting down.
But I realized at one point I was just not doing my customers, my clients, any justice, because my memory was starting to go and everything. It's like I had these people, they hired me to sell their house, and I got to a point where I'm like, you know what, I have to be honest. I'm not doing what you hired me to do. So I handed those clients off and retired.
Hi, Barbara. Hi, Ann. So what happened was at that point, I sat down and we were thinking, and I kept thinking, well, what if the market falls? Like, what if the economy? We've been in a good economy, you guys. It's like, you know, it might be slow going, but in reality, this is a good economy. And we always worried if the economy fell, the housing market would fall, right, and then we would be in a similar situation. And so I'm evaluating all the things that I'm going to need to try to cover. In my mind, my passion, my heart, everything that told me said, my kids are going to lose their father. I don't want them to lose their house, their school, and everything that they've grown to love, because they're already going to lose half their life. And so I was sitting next to Michael, and I started trying to rationalize with him, right? He knows I'm addicted to this jewelry. And I saw the post, and I said, what happens if the economy crashes? I'm not going to be able to sell a pair of Barbie shoes for $35. Right. It's just not going to happen. You know, I'm paying 10 cents for these things. They're real Barbie shoes. But I knew. And I said, how about we try this out? And we just started on the side as kind of like the backup plan. You know, we can do it. And, you know, so Michael, he's kind of always the... I'm
the naysayer. I'm, you know, the realist, the I don't know.
Not when it comes to our kids, but everything else, yes.
Pretty much. When it comes to the kids, I apparently...
He has blinders on when it comes to our
I
kids.
don't see anything they do wrong, but when it comes to everything else, but like with Paparazzi, I said, okay, I'm going to try
Stella, take a drink.
I'm going to try and see. I'm going to try and find whatever dirt I can find on Paparazzi, you know? I mean, and if I can't find any dirt, then great. And if I can, well, then there's her answer. And I did some pretty intensive research on the company and on people that have sold it, and after a little while, I go, you know, I don't see anything bad. You know, I don't see any bad reviews. The stuff is good quality. Obviously, you like it, and you think people will buy it. I mean, okay, let's give it a whirl. Why not? You know. So after my vetting, basically, of trying to find anything negative, you know, but I trusted her judgment. Ultimately, if she would have told me, look, I think it's a great idea and I want to do it, I would have said, cool. Like, I've known her since she was little.
That's terrible,
and,
Vanessa.
You know. I trust her judgment. So anyway, go ahead.
Anyways, we ordered the kit, and before, you know, when you guys sign up, what happens is there's this big long form. You fill it out. Got to have your social security number. Obviously, you're signing a contract. They have to verify who you are. They're responsible for commission earnings, anyways, to report, not basically what your sales. That's your responsibility. So they have this long, like, I don't know, contract. It was like 4 pages or something of tiny print, right? And I'm like, I'm going through every line because I'm like, I am not signing my family up for disaster and thinking this is the answer. So I fine-tooth it, right? And I'm like, okay, realist, go. And so we signed up. Back then, the shipping was running a long time at that point. And so we did not receive the kit, actually, until the beginning of September. We started out doing this, and you guys have to remember that my background has always been law firm background. I've always worked in a professional environment, except like when I was 25 years old. But the positive thing is that I've always been a manager in any job that I've ever had. Whether I signed up to be a manager or not, within 3 months of any job that I've ever worked, I ended up being a manager.
Because you always gave 110% to everywhere she was at, you know. It's like when your mom would say, you know, why can't you just work a 9-to-5 job? I go, Mom, you've known her longer than me. Marissa doesn't do that. Marissa doesn't punch a clock and go home. Marissa works 110, 150% at anything she does, whether it's a job or any project she's working on. So it's not in her to just give the minimum and go home. So
meanwhile, my mom calls me and she says, what are you doing? And I said, you know that jewelry that I've been obsessing over? And she says, yeah. I said, I'm going to sell it. And she goes, don't do that. Don't do that. And I said, what? She says, don't sell that jewelry. She goes, who the heck are you going to sell it to? She goes, all you do is hang out with Michael. You have no friends anymore. That's what she said to me. And so, thank you so much, Cindy. So she was naysaying it right from the beginning. And I'm like, well, I already signed up. And she's like, how much money did you waste? And I said, well, I bought the big kit. And she says, well, why would you go out and do that? She goes, why didn't you just try? I go, because I said, I actually have 3 college degrees. One of them is actually commercial and graphic design. And the commercial and graphic design degree that I have, it made me have a lot of marketing background. And I realized, because if you analyze this product, and this was my selling point to Michael, by the way, if you analyze markets, what it is it really depends on your product, right? So each product that anybody sells, it has a distinct market that's going to go to it. But the difference with Paparazzi is it has every market. So a lot of other companies, they may be, thank you. A lot of other companies may just be this. It may be, oh gosh, you know, it's weight loss. Well, guess what? Everybody on the 1st of January, they're going to sign up for the weight loss thing. Well, those that can afford it, because it's expensive, right? And then how many people actually stick with it? And so, Cindy, I have a YouTube channel. You'll find lots of helpful videos. This is, it's Marissa's Bling on a Budget, just like my business page name. And we're going to start doing training on the actual business page to help others. So what happened is, you know, I kept telling Michael all the benefits of this. Like, we have, not only do we have a product that hits all these markets, right? Because how many people in the world don't wear jewelry? There's really not a lot, okay? But the other thing is that we hit all kinds of income brackets. You know, I don't care. I have women that have real diamonds and would rather wear the $5 jewelry that I'm selling. You know, they live in a house 6 times the size of mine, and they love this jewelry. It's versatile. They have every style. They have it for young. They have it for old. They have it for men. They have children's jewelry. They have hair stuff. So we had, like, this was the selling point, right? And I knew in my mind that my job was this. If I was going to make this work, then I really, my whole point of it was to get my name out there. Like, I have this awesome jewelry, you know, but I can't sell it without people knowing I have it. So my whole goal was just bust it out. So what happened was that I signed up for every event that you possibly could. Michael was still at the point where I could leave for the weekend and the older kids would be here and they would make sure everything ran right, or, you know, if Michael was having a bad day. So I signed up for every event. And I signed up in September. I had every event covered all the way up into March, but I had it back to back weekend all the way through December because I thought I am going to hit this with the Christmas season. Like, I am just going to smash it. But what we had to think of is this. I, by accident, found out that Lisa Abercrombie was my upline, not the person I had signed up under, but above her. And I talked to her on the phone and I said, well, tell me a little bit about events that you can tell me. Because I'd obviously never sold a product, never actually done a craft show or a vendor event. And she said, you should take 100 to 300 pieces with you. In the meantime, I'm scheduling home parties throughout the week, right? On top of live shows, because I thought I can make this boom. Like, I was so paranoid about the economy.
Well, you hit the ground running with it, really. I mean, you had a plan in place. Like, before the kit got here, we were making plans. Like, we have that thing in the group, what to do. We were waiting for your kit to kind of give the new consultants an idea of what to do. That's what we did. You know, we made a plan before the kit came. We're like, you know, as soon as it shows up, let's, you know, get a plan in gear. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
So what happened was that you have to pay for these monies in advance, these events in advance, and so I had already paid and put deposits down because you can only have one paparazzi vendor at each event, and so I wanted to secure my place to make sure that I was the first, and so I paid the deposits on all of these places. Well, lo and behold, Michael gets worse, and we were doing. When you do these events, and I knew I had to have 100 to 300 pieces. Here, I just started. I knew I had to take money out of our savings to do that, you know? So, because what if I sold 300 pieces at an event and then had an event the next day and then a home party and then a live show? So we, you know, we brainstormed, he agreed, and then that was where we started investing in the inventory.
So you gotta have the product. I mean, I don't care how many shows you have set up. If you don't have the product, you don't have the inventory, you know, there's no point, you know? So we agreed to make the additional expenditure to have the inventory so she could go, you know, do these shows.
So what happened was when he got really sick, I had paid for all these shows in advance, $30 to $50 a show, and I'm talking like 18 of them. Yeah, and I was really upset. And my viewership on my live shows was only 6 viewers at the time.
We were calling people and begging them. Like, people like now, they're like, oh, how do you get so many you guys? So, you know, like, they think she always had 1 million viewers. No, like, we literally called family and friends. We're like, can you just please just go on there and just watch it so it looks like there's, you know, somebody on there so it's not crickets in the background. You know, she literally started with, you know.
No, I invited, he was in, not only did he do real estate, but he'd also work on political campaigns and that. And so he had like 900 friends at the time. And he invited all to like the business page. I invited all my friends to like the business page. We ended up with like 26 likes out of like 1,500 people. It was ridiculous, you know? And like, I was like, can you just please, I don't need you to watch me. If you could just come on the show, you know, and share my show, that would be so awesome. And I would tell them why. I would tell them, you know, Michael's family, a lot of them don't even know Michael being sick. He is a very private person, so I want you guys to know this is not something that
I did this for her. I mean, I did this for us, I should say. But yeah, I don't like being on camera. I don't like.
He doesn't like pity. We don't ever want
Definitely
anybody's
not.
pity. Do not feel sorry for us. We are blessed to have found each other. We are blessed to have 4 healthy children. Mm-hmm. We are blessed to have each minute with each other. Yep. So we do not ever want anybody's pity or anybody to feel bad for us. We took and ran with something, and that's what we did with Paparazzi. But what happened was that when Michael became very ill and I realized it wasn't going to work for me to leave the house for hours at a time, that was when I said to Michael, I said, I quit. And he said, what do you mean you quit? And I said, you know, I quit. I said, how am I going to do this? I said, look at all this money that I dumped into this. I said,
I still have my hair, Cindy. Sorry. As long as I still have that.
oh, you're really cutting into him right there, because that's the one thing he always says to me is that, you know, as long as I'm not dead and I have my hair. That's his words, right? So
Sorry.
I felt really crushed, right? And so you guys know I was used to having this eBay business, and here I had all this merchandise. Like, I had bought because I had told you shipping was so far behind. And so I was worried that if I did these events, I wouldn't get enough jewelry in at the time. I was on a buying spree. I mean, like, I bought a lot. And so I felt defeated, and I felt like I failed my family. And I went to bed one night, I was crying, and I said, I quit. I said, you know what we'll do? I said, I will find somebody, we'll sell it all as one huge lot, and we'll be done with it. And I'm so sorry I did this. And Michael said, just go to bed. Just go to bed. And I said, okay.
So don't make any decisions. Just go to bed.
Yep. And so the next morning, Uncle Jesse. That's one of her favorite shows. So in the morning, I woke up and I came down, and Michael said, I have a surprise for you. And I said, what? And he says, come over here. And I was still feeling, you know, on my pity pot. And Michael says, come look. And so he says, you're so used to eBay. He goes, you know how to market your listings on eBay. He says, I built you a website. And I said, what? Like, overnight, the guy built me a website, right? Sat at his computer, didn't sleep the whole night, and built me a website. He goes, now help me load all these products in here. And I was like, you have to be kidding me. I was flabbergasted. And so I couldn't believe that was what he had done. So for 2 weeks straight, I decided, since I was not doing these shows, I needed to go live. But the problem was I had all this jewelry, and I had no way to find what I had. So that was a solution with the website also.
Inventory.
Inventory to try to figure out what we had. So what happened was that we loaded all of this product on in 2 weeks, 3,000 different items onto this website, marissasblingonabudget.com.
Yeah, when we went live, we had 3,000 something.
And at that point, I was still doing the live videos, you know, and since I found out when we first got the kit, I have to say this, we laughed our butts off, right? We open up the kit, they give you this party planner, it talks about all the life of the party ranks that you can reach.
My gosh, yeah.
You can get to diamond, and if you get to diamond, you get a crown, and you only have to sell 17,500 pieces.
Oh, we laughed so hard.
I rolled on the floor almost peeing my pants thinking, are we gonna really sell, who sells 17,500 pieces, you know, like,
It's never gonna happen, but whatever.
you know. And every day when I found out about the Z collection, because, you know, through people talking about it and watching others' lives, because I was watching everybody's lives I could. I wanted to learn the good or the bad, or, you know, what not to do, what words not to use, what were good things to do. And so, that's my daughter Stella. And so we, you know, we really chuckled about it. And I had learned about this necklace, and since day one, all I said was, someday I'll win a necklace. Someday. And
again,
someday I want to name the jewelry.
Again, let's go back to everything this girl puts her mind to, and everything she says she's going to do. Ever since she was little, she's always done. But
it was looking pretty bleak. I had 6 viewers when I was saying it.
Right.
Literally for 3 months, 6 viewers. You know? So it wasn't like, I had this in the bag. Like, I had 40 viewers. Right. But I kept analyzing and looking. And, you know, one day Michael looked at me, and remind you, I told you guys I was in this set law firm environment. I always worked in a professional. I couldn't wear this. I couldn't wear that. And so what happened was, hi, Brenda. Hi, Cindy. And so what happened was that Michael looked at me one day, and he goes, would you take off the damn suit? He goes, seriously, take that suit off and take that dress off. He's like, why don't you just be comfortable and be yourself? And I was like, I don't know. Like, people don't want me to be myself.
But she was dressed up, you know.
I thought people don't want me to be myself. I'm like, I'm a business owner. They want me to look professional, you know? And he's like, no, you be you. He's like, you want to know why you're not bringing in the people? You want to know why the viewers aren't there? Because you're living at the law firm, and most people don't live at a law firm. And he said, you really need to turn this around, and you need to start being yourself. And then he reminded me.
I said, you're a princess. You be a princess, wear a crown. Wear a crown every show. Who cares?
When we were getting married, my mom, when she was with me picking out the dress and the veil, she had always said to me, she goes, well, let's get your veil. And Stella was there, so Stella knows, right? And I said, I don't want to wear a veil. And she goes, you have to wear a veil. And I said, I'm going to wear a crown. And she says, you're going to wear a crown? What are you, a kid? And I said, no. I said, I've never wore a crown, and I've always wanted to wear a crown. And if it's the only excuse I ever have to wear a crown, then I'm going to wear a crown for my wedding.
Right.
You know, my mom, you're going to have people, you're in charge of a $4 million budget, and you're going to have people there, and you're going to wear a crown? You know, putting me down. So Michael says, because I called Michael immediately in the dressing room. I'm like, my mother, God, she's ruining this for me. And, you know, Michael's talking me off the ledge. And so Michael says, you've always said you would wear a crown every day if you could. Why don't you wear a crown? And so I did. I wore a crown. I quit wearing the suits. I put on a t-shirt. I put on my yoga pants. I still did my makeup and looked like a person. But I started doing lives that way. And wow,
But
what
you
a
did
difference.
change too, you know. I mean,
Yeah, because I was myself.
You were yourself. You were more, you know, not that there was any misrepresentation, but I think a lot of it, like I would notice this too. Like when I first started out working in real estate, and we would have casual days on Friday. This was like 30 some years ago. Casual days on Friday, you could wear jeans. Okay, I noticed that I was less productive when I wore jeans and a t-shirt to work. It was just me. But when I wore my suit, I was more productive. So I stopped adhering to casual days because I just was, you know, I didn't feel like I was working as well. I felt like I was just, you know, whatever. So I said, well, it's the same premise, I think. I think you're more yourself when you're dressed casually and you're
Stella,
not.
you pinned this comment.
Here, I'll-
I did?
Yes, she's playing with the iPad, reading the comments.
I was trying to like them.
So, Michael, you know, Michael said you really need to be yourself. And so, but no matter what, every show, 6 viewers, 8 viewers,
But you kept going.
I kept going. I wanted to quit. People think that all of a sudden she had instant fame. She never wanted to quit. Absolutely not. I wanted to quit probably 5 or 6 times, but the difference was
Right.
that was how I went to bed. And then the next morning, I would come downstairs and I'd look at Michael and go, let's try this.
Yeah, and she
Let's
really
try this.
did. Like I'd say, sleep on it. Let's let not make any decisions after 7 o'clock at night when we're tired and we're stressed out from the day. Go ahead, let's pray about it. Let's sleep on it, and we'll talk in the morning and see what happens. And sure enough, every day, the next day, some kind of answer. She'd come up with something, some kind of new
way to market us,
right.
or one new way to put us out there, and reading compliance and making sure it was within compliance and messaging compliance. And I mean, I think that compliance is so sick of hearing from me, and I've never reported anybody. That's the funny thing. I've
We're asking
never
questions
ever
about-
reported
we're
anybody.
ratting ourselves out. You're asking questions. Can we do A, B, or C? Because that was the key. Like, okay, we have to make sure
Hi,
number
Lynn.
one, our livelihood stays there. So we don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardize the consultant status. So before we did anything, we're like, hey, compliance, can we do this? Can we sell the jewelry this way? Can we market this? Whatever, So yeah, I mean, I kind of became a compliance nerd. I mean,
Right.
I've read policies and procedures. I don't know how many times over and over.
Yeah.
And the girls will ask me a question. I'm like, and I'll still go back. I'm like, off the top of my head, I know the answer.
Hi,
but
Pat. Hi,
let me go
Nicole.
find, and I'll
Hi, Mary.
send them like Article 4, whatever, paragraph 2.
So one of the things that was a big game changer was A, not only being myself, but B, it was at the time when the necklace was announced and Lisa had come out with this branding boot camp, right? Lisa Abercrombie, I don't know if she's still on my video, but she was. She has a YouTube channel just like me, and hers
this
is
is
just
the
her
best.
name. So it's Lisa Abercrombie. And it's just like the store name, right? She's not related though. And she had these training videos, and it was called Branding Boot Camp, and it was a series of like 9 or 10 videos, and they were not long. They were like 30 minutes. And there was one specific task that really changed it for me, and it was a dream board task. Now the thing about doing this is that I needed to win, right? I had to do this for my family. I had invested a lot of money into it. And at the time, everything that I did was for my family. It was all about me and my family. But as my viewership growed, I realized that it wasn't just about jewelry. And I've told this story, I think twice before, but
Yeah.
I want to tell a story about a customer of mine. She had never talked. She had purchased through my website, then started shopping my live shows. She bought quite a bit in the first week. And she messaged me. She really didn't know how to send a picture on Facebook. And she said, can I have your phone number? And I thought, well, this is kind of odd, you know? I'm like, yeah, you can have my phone number. And so she sent me a text message, and the text message told me about how she had survived stage 4 cancer, how she had no eyelashes left, how her hair had all fallen out, how she was so depressed with how sickly she looked because she literally had gray skin, that she never left her house, that she was embarrassed. And she said that she saw me live and heard me talk about my website and went and made a purchase. And she says, I just want to tell you, you're the whole reason I was able to leave my house. She says, the first time that I left was because I felt so good wearing this jewelry. And then it started to hit me, because this is more than just jewelry for me. It was my family, you know, and I was succeeding for my family. And I looked at that message and I thought, this really does. It's not only changing my life, it is changing people's lives all over the place, whether it's selling it, whether it's wearing it, whether it's body image, whether, you know, there's so much bullying and depression in this country right now.
And that's an aspect of the jewelry that I never thought about. Like, you know, I was selling houses, okay, so it's people's biggest purchase, and it was always usually an emotional experience, but I never equated $5 jewelry with something that could be life-changing. And when this woman was messaging Marissa and talking to Marissa, it was like blew my mind. You know, yeah, I get it. I mean, here's this woman who had been through all this, and this $5 jewelry
never spoken to me before.
Made her feel like a person. Made her feel like, you know.
Right. It was remarkable. And you know, the whole time I'm thinking, wow, this is crazy. At this point, like, I might have recruited one person or two by accident. Like, I didn't actively try to recruit them. It was more of like an accident thing. They wanted the discount and so we were just trucking along, and necklace season came, and I did Lisa's branding boot camp. And like I said, she has a YouTube channel. I also have a YouTube channel. It's Marissa's Bling on a Budget. Hers is right after her name, Lisa Abercrombie. Hello, Veronica. And so necklace season, they announce it. And I say to Lisa, mind you, like, my viewership at this point was still only like 30 viewers, right?
It wasn't huge.
It was not huge. And I said to Lisa, I said, I'm going to go live more, and I'm going to win that necklace. And I'm sure she thought I was crazy. Here's this girl who had 6 viewers for 3 months, right? You know, like, I had bought a lot of jewelry, but that was because I had doing all these shows. I'm sure she thought I was, you know, I was packing the nuts away. Let's just put it that way. And so that was the first month, was February in 2018. And
well, I think you should mention too, like, we got everything on the website, but it wasn't like instantly all of a sudden things started selling. No, you build the website, and it's an even bigger job to get people to find your website. To know that your products
It's not
there.
a magic button solution.
Yeah,
it was a
totally
magic
not.
button solution for inventory management.
Right.
That's what it was for us. So I have actually, in the very last week, it was August, it was your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
I signed up on August 28th.
Yep.
And that is Michael's birthday, and then I received my kit in September. And the funny thing was that I actually won one of Lisa's contests the first week that I joined. Like, I got all this free jewelry because I won Lisa's contest. I'm like, woo-woo, you know? So what happened was that when I saw that contest and I thought, oh, you know, I've always said I want to win a necklace. I really want to win that necklace. Like, you know, like the I want this for me thing was taking over.
Yeah.
And I told Michael, I said, you know what? I said, it's going to be Christmas. I'm going to go live. You know, like, we're just getting out of Christmas. I'm going to go live like crazy because I know that people have money after Christmas. Because what happens is they're done shopping for everybody else, and they take things back to the store, and they're not paying for making these dinners or taking out to eat. And, you know, the kids all have their presents, and if they can sneak some back to the store, they do.
I'm talking about $5. We're talking about buying a car.
Right. So I started going live, like insane live. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was like putting my name out in every which way possible, and the viewers just kept growing and coming, and they were cheering me on to win that necklace. It was amazing. The people that stood behind me, Lisa, like kind of guiding me through and being like, maybe you should try going in this direction, or maybe you should try watching this video. The first month, I could have had it. In fact, I was up in the leaderboards the whole month, and at the end of the month, we had a huge medical situation come up, and we had to fork out a bunch of money, which meant very slim buying at the very end, and I wasn't able to go live. And so the next month I said, I'm doing this. Like, I don't want to wait and have highest point value at the end. I said, I need it now. Like, I can't sleep. I need this. And Michael says, you're going to do it. You're going to do it, you know?
I knew she would.
So I just went crazy. I mean, like, I was doing speed lives. I was going live. I was, like, left and right. I mean, and I was attracting all these new people. And the speed shows, let me tell you, girls, like, they were like, when I used to do a speed show, I would just pick up a buckets of jewelry and lay it out and go to town.
Like you were doing like 500 pieces, I think.
I do a 500 piece show, and I do it in an hour and 10 minutes. I was talking a mile a minute because the faster I talk, the more jewelry they bought.
I never heard her talk that fast.
I have asthma. I have terrible allergies. I would get up because I'm literally walking around my kitchen with like this and talking so fast that I would fall. And Mike would be like, "You can't keep doing this. Like, you're gonna kill yourself. Take a breath." I was so dizzy. And so, Michael, you know, through all of this, what would happen is when you sell a lot of jewelry, what happens? You have to ship a lot of jewelry.
Right.
So I was staying up all night. I mean, there was days that I stayed up 2.5 days straight shipping.
Like literally no exaggeration.
Shipping, and then I try to put my face together to do another live because I wanted this necklace so bad. So we ended up winning the necklace that month. I think that I have never cried so hard in my life because to think, here we laughed at selling 17,500 pieces of jewelry. And I had literally, like, I was way beyond 17,500 pieces of jewelry at that stage, with kids' jewelry and everything else. And so when we went to convention not knowing what to expect, they told us Michael would never make it. We quit going to the doctors because they kept giving us dates of death. And if you ever have something looming over you like that, they told us October 2017 that he was never going to make it. Yeah. They wanted us to keep coming back for testing. And I said, we're not doing it. I said, they're not playing God and they're not going to tell me what God's going to do. I said, so I don't think we should go back because all they were doing was making him a guinea pig.
Yeah, at that point I was at U of M and I was at the ALS clinic.
Hi, Linda.
And at that point, what they were basically doing was tracking my progress or my decline for research purposes. So yeah, I was a guinea pig for all intents and purposes. That's all we were doing, going and saying, okay, well, you've progressed this much worse, so now you've got this much shorter to live. And we decided, what, the best choice based on the doctors and everything was to go into hospice. They thought I had 6 months at that point, so we said, okay, we'll just go into hospice and and just stop worrying about dates of death and just live.
Right, that's what we decided to do. We're not going to live under somebody telling us when he's going to die. But every night after we found out, Michael was actually sleeping. He was in a really bad state when I won the necklace. At that point, Michael was not getting out of bed. He was heavily on a ventilator with oxygen. And when Cassidy, who actually designs our necklaces, called, I woke him up. Because I was screaming so loud. I was like, I won! You've got to be kidding me! And he thought somebody died. He's like, are you okay? What's going on? Because he's like, wakes up out of this deep slumber. So the next challenge was, how does Michael, and then in my mind, I'm thinking like this, I can't go to Vegas if Michael doesn't go. And you have to go to Vegas to get your necklace. You have to. Paparazzi is very complicit and clear about all of their rules. They bend them for no one. There is nobody, I don't care if you sell 5 pieces of jewelry or 50,000, you are the same. I don't care if you're not even active. You're the same as me, and I've sold over, 100,000 in a year, pieces of jewelry. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? I don't even want to be there. To me, him and I brainstorming back and forth, this was a joint venture. He does, and if you guys have ever messaged a page, chances are you're talking to Michael. You message my personal profile, chances are you're talking to Michael because I'm shipping. And, or I'm taking training to help my team. So I had said something to the hospice doctor. The doctor comes, and the hospice doctor said, well, that'll kill him. And I said, what do you mean? I said, he has to go. And he goes, no, that's going to kill him. He's like, the pressure on the cabin will kill him. His lung will collapse, right, at this point. And I said, no. I said, he is going. And the doctor says, no, he shouldn't go. Well, then the hospice started fighting with us. Well, this isn't Make-A-Wish Foundation, and we're not granting wishes for somebody who's dying. And our hospice nurse, Susan, stuck up for him and says, this is exactly what we do. If we can give somebody something in life like this, at the end of their life, then why wouldn't we?
Thank God for her. She's just the best.
Because we had to have special machines to travel with us. And so at that point, she basically talked the doctor into letting him go.
I'm not an easy person to travel with. I mean, not like I can just hop on a plane. I mean, not only do I get given the 3rd degree by
He's touched in places I haven't touched him.
Right.
So
I feel pretty violated when I get through the whatever it is, the screening there. But you know, I've got machines. I've got my vent. I've got my oxygen, and you know, I'm in a wheelchair, and so it's a kind of a big to do. But Susan, who was
not let alone we have to carry. If you got to realize that the federal law, and if you lose your medication, and Michael is on a lot of medications, then they're not going to replace it for Michael. So when we fly, and Michael takes a lot of liquid medication, when we fly, we actually carry the bag of medication. Well, they actually test every single piece of medication before we get on the plane. Every time we fly with the kids, I always look at them and I go, you say one word. You say one word before we get through. Look at her, she knows. You say one word before we get through that security. I'm calling your grandparents. They can come pick you up from security because you ain't going with us. And then, yeah, you have never seen my kids behave so well when we go through the airport. Because I know that if they do something wrong, they're going to take it out on Michael.
Oh, it was
I
funny.
remember the speech that she gave us before we went to the airport.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole time. And they remember the kids got out of the car. They got out of the car.
Said that he has Zika.
Oh, yeah.
To one of the guards.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he was lucky we were past security at that point.
Everyone
Because
got out,
I
yeah.
mean, when I say something, I mean it. Just like Michael says, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Oh, no doubt. There's no doubt.
So we literally, you know, we got on the plane, and the whole time they sent a paramedic to fly with us because they thought they might have to resuscitate him when the cabin pressure changed.
They thought for sure I'd die.
So the paramedic, we get to know him. He's a great guy. And the paramedic, we find out, is doing this all on volunteer work. The hospice wasn't even paying him. And he just heard about our love story because the hospice asked Michael to write a story about why this was so important, because he was going to go to his foundation, and he thought that a nice little story would help fund this.
Fundraising.
Because can you imagine? I have to pay for the flight. We are not independently rich. You know, at this time, we have lots of medical bills. We didn't have income, over $100,000 of income for over 3 years, and I was robbing Peter to pay Paul in the backdrop so my kids didn't lose anything. So we find out, and then, you know, the whole time we get on the flight, Michael's wearing his ventilator, and the whole time Michael, he sleeps a lot, you know, and so Michael was falling over, and I'm paranoid, but I don't want him to know that I'm paranoid thinking he died or something, you know, like his lung collapsed. Like, how am I going to know? He's got this mask on. I don't know if he's gasping. And so I was like, I would sit there and I'd be nonchalant, like I was really hugging him, but I was feeling his heartbeat and his lungs, you know? So
Proof of life.
proof of life. And we get to Vegas, and that was the first time that I actually met Lisa Abercrombie in person. And I said, well, Lisa, we were waiting for his wheelchair to come, and Michael's walking a long walk with a walker. And you have to understand, walking to the bathroom for Michael is like you walking a mile. Okay? It is very strenuous on him. It takes everything he has in him to have the ability to do so. And so, you know, Lisa messages me and she goes, you know, I have a little surprise for you. Can you come out to my room? And, you know, Lisa has this big swank room. You know, we're like, what? She's like, I got this suite. You got to see this room, you know? She's like, I decided to upgrade. I'm like, oh, you're a rock star. And
We know now for this year. We got the nicer room for this year.
Right. So we went and we met with Lisa. And the whole time, it was just so like I knew this was a God moment. Like, God gave this to me, you know? Because every night before, when I knew that I had won, I'd go to bed and I'd say, you know, God, I don't care how hard it gets. As long as Michael has the will to live, as long as he wants to be here, will you keep him here? And then I would say, and please let him go to convention. You know? Please let him see me get this necklace. He helped me work for it. When we met Lisa and her husband Jason, and I don't know, Jason pops on every now and then if you guys watch Lisa.
I feel like we've known them forever. They're
Right.
just wonderful.
It was just instant comfort. Jason is hilarious. Jason and Michael are both computer dorks, you know, so right away they're tearing into it. Lisa and I were like, jewelry, like, you know, what's your necklace gonna look like? What's this? You know, we were excited. They were excited. It was a really nice time. And so at convention, I had sold a lot of jewelry to get my family, so that I was making the bills and not robbing anymore from Peter to pay Paul. Although I still had the debt, because, you know, once you get in the hole, then you got to pay all that interest.
She made it work, though.
So when we finally went to convention and I the first day you get your necklace.
Oh yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, the first day, then we get our necklace, and that was another panic attack. I thought Michael died getting up to the place to get my necklace, right?
Because I had to go up the elevator, which was a separate.
So they tell us when we go to get our necklace, all of us girls are lined up. I've never met any of these girls. And we're all sitting there excited to see this, right? And I know the heat is bad. And I'm looking in front of us because it's at a stadium, and there's like 100 stairs up there. And I'm like, he's going to die. And the guy looks at him. This had nothing to do with paparazzi. It was the stadium workers, obviously. The people from paparazzi were inside. We were outside.
Was awesome, too. I mean, they could not have been more... anything that they could do to be accommodating for me, they did. Things they did not have to do. Things that were completely outside of their, responsibility, or even the fact that they cared, I mean, who am I? I'm like nobody. I'm, the husband of one of the girls that sells the jewelry, and they're just... paparazzi. I can't say enough good things about them.
Michael gets out of the bus, and the stadium worker goes, yeah, we just have to go up these stairs. And Michael's with a walker, and he has his oxygen with him. Because we didn't know if they were going to have a bus for his scooter. And so I looked at the guy, and I said, he can't go up those stairs. He goes, well, I don't have the key to the elevator. I go, well, you're going to have to go find it. I said, my husband is terminally ill. It's a miracle that he has made it here. This is God's gift, and you're not going to ruin it. And he just looked at me, because he was being pretty adamant that he wasn't going to do it. And so they led Michael in a side door while we walked up, right? So I'm sitting there, and all these girls are excited, and I've never met them. Stacy Chaffee was probably the nicest person I had ever met in my entire life. Those of you guys that watch her. Her husband was like Michael's buddy. He was like carrying his oxygen for him because the heat is just tremendous.
He stopped what he was doing to help me and carry my oxygen.
More than once.
Yeah, it was great. They're really nice people.
And so when I get up there, we're waiting to find out what our necklace is, right? That's what this is all about. We find out our necklace. We never know what it is beforehand. And we are just like sitting there, and Michael is nowhere to be found, right? And here's all these strangers with me. And all of a sudden, I freak out. I'm thinking, it is so hot out there. Can you imagine what the back of this stadium is like? Where are they having my husband come up through? Because we've been there for 25 minutes, and they were supposed to bring him up through an elevator. I'm like, what if somebody didn't walk with him, and what if he's dead? So I start hysterically crying. Hysterically. And Stacy Chaffee comes over, and she gives me a big hug, and she goes, what's wrong, sweetheart? You know how Stacy is in that voice. She goes, what's going on? She goes, can I help you? And then I had to tell him, I'm like, my husband, he's supposed to die in October, and it's God's gift, he's here, because everything was God's gift. And I said, my husband, 10 people do. I said, my husband. I said, I don't know if he's dead in the back of it. And Stacy Chaffee looked at her husband, she goes, you go figure it out right now. Look at her,
She said, you go find me.
Yeah. And so come to find out, Michael was actually in the next room sitting with our necklaces the whole time. And Misty, the founder, who, I had seen pictures, but a lot of consultants don't even know who the founders of the company are. She came over to me and she goes, I am so sorry. She goes, I thought you knew he was in the room with us. She's like, he is sitting down, his oxygen is plugged in, and she says, he's okay, he's all right. I'm like, oh. Like, now I feel like an idiot because I just threw a crying fit in front of all these girls.
Yeah, but you think worst case, and I would have thought the same thing. Worst case scenario,
so,
laying there passed out.
We walk into this room, and I'm thinking of all my accomplishments. Like, this, it all came down to this moment. Like, not only did I get this stuff done for my family, but I want a necklace. Like, I said I was going to win this from day one. I thought it was going to be like maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. Like, no way. 6 viewers, 3 months, no way. And so Michael's sitting down, and all of us girls are sitting down, and they start presenting the necklaces, and I could see Michael. And all of a sudden, they bring out the Stacy. Well, what we know is the Stacy today. And I could see Michael just going, no, like, because the Stacy wouldn't be me, right?
I saw all the necklaces first. So, like, I was sitting with the founders, and so, like, I was facing the girls. So the back of the necklaces were to the girls, and I could see all the necklaces lined up. And I looked at all of them, and I could see out of the 10 of them, that one's the Marissa. I just knew, there were no names, but I just knew I saw this necklace. I'm like, if they pegged my wife right, they're going to give her that one. So they picked up Stacy's, and I thought, I hope they don't make a mistake and give her that one, because that's not really her. So, go ahead.
So then, we get the necklaces. I was super excited. The next day we had to be there at 6 a.m. And so, you always, because a lot of people don't think about being handicapped, and it's natural. I grew up, my mom has MS. I've taken care of her the majority of my life. I lived 5 minutes from her house when we got married, so that way if there was ever an emergency, even though my brother lives with her, that I was right there to do it. And so they start telling us that the bus is going to pick us up at 6 a.m. And I didn't want to, I didn't know these girls. I felt bad. And then I raised my hand and I go, do you think it could have a scooter lift on the bus? And somebody had answered, it wasn't one of the founders. And that's when Shani looked over and she goes, absolutely. I will personally make sure that there is a scooter lift for you so that your husband can come.
There's just so I mean, like I said, I can't say enough great things about them.
And so, let me tell you, winning a necklace is just something unreal because it's like all your hard work came together and all these people tell you how inspired they are by you. I had not recruited. I went to convention as a premier director, which is basically one of the first tiers that you can hit. I never tried recruiting. I didn't think I could recruit. And I was really being selfish is what it turned out to be because by me not recruiting and bringing people in, I wasn't teaching people how to do this and that they could do this for their own family.
You looked at it as not sharing your gift.
Right. So in AA, they teach you once you become sober and you've done your 12 steps that to continue not only helping others because you have to give back what you were given. I worked very hard to figure out things, but I definitely believe that God had put me into the right path. I would pray about things at night. We would wake up, I would feel defeated, go to bed, I would wake up again, I'd come up with some brand new idea. Like, I don't think that all these things just were sparked by, my own ability. I know that I always pray, and the whole time when I wasn't sleeping for that necklace, I don't know how I was doing it. I don't think I've ever stood up that many days in a row, and I would say to God, God, I am so willing to do the work. Can you just hold my feet in place and hold me up to do it?
Hold you vertical.
I said, just hold me vertical, and I will get it done, God. I will do it. And, every day that my prayers were answered, and I'm a big person of faith. I know why I'm here, and I know what my purpose is. And when I won that necklace, and I had so many girls come up to me and tell me that they admired me or that they thought they couldn't believe how much I inspired them and how down to earth I was. Like, I just thought, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh no, I'm always willing to help somebody or help anybody out.
Well, people will, and when somebody's successful, it's easy for others to get a false perception of what that person is like because sometimes success changes people. But she's the same Marissa I've known, since she was 8 years old. She's the same. And I say this to people all the time. They'll say something like, you know this before you married her?
Hi, Vivian.
Know this since she was a kid, and she hasn't changed one bit, So, anyway, go ahead.
We came back from convention, and then things really went. I mean, they went. Oh, I should say the last day, we had difficulties getting Michael on the floor to see me get my Life of the Party award.
Yeah, right.
I didn't really get any other award. I only had Life of the Party because I could sell like a monster, and we had a hard time getting him on the floor, on the ground floor, because they had only a certain amount of space. The stadium was very odd. The employees were just oddball, like they didn't understand anything. I was talking another language,
yeah.
And I was like, but you have to understand, this is God's gift. He's supposed to see this, And so we get up onto stage, and they announce the diamonds, and I walk across the stage, and then, Lisa kept telling me, wow, you really blew it out of the water. Like, they're going to do something crazy for you. And I'm like, come on, they're going to make it. She's like, they'll make a new rank. She's like, Paparazzi never lets you hit that top tier. They always give you something new to strive for.
Yeah.
And so I get my first award, and I'm like, where's the crown? Like, I thought I was going to get crowned on stage. It was all about the stinking crown. Look at this thing, right? I was like, where's the crown? Where's the crown? And then all of a sudden I hear, Misty gets on, and she says, but, however, we have had some real retail rock stars. And I would just like to announce...
they gave her the plaque for Diamond.
I'm sitting on his lap in the wheelchair because there was no seat for me.
Yeah, because I had kind of, and the founders were great. This was another case where she had talked to...
It's all mine, Patricia.
She had talked to somebody. She talked to one of the founders. They got on the radio and got the stadium to get me down there. Like I said, I cannot say enough wonderful things about them. But anyway, long story short, I'm down there. She's sitting on my lap, and I knew that they were going to do something else for her and whoever else made it, as high as you did. So she's sitting on my lap. She's got the plaque, and then go ahead. Sorry, I had to fill that in.
So at that point, they announced me again, and we went up, and that was when they created Black Diamond. And I'm looking, and you have to remember, I'm so new in the company. I'd only been doing this 9 months. And I'm looking, I really didn't know the girls around me. Only Heidi, who I had won a necklace with me, who had been in the company the same amount of time as me. And so somebody had messaged me while I went back to the room, and they said, you do realize that you and Heidi are the only girls standing on that stage that haven't been doing this 7 years. And I said, I didn't even know who they were. Are you kidding? I had no idea.
Right.
I did know who Shannon Johnson was only because she has that cute little dance, man. And a consultant that had told me, you need to watch her shipping dance. Like, you have to watch it and send a video. And that's how I knew her. So before this all happened, because I was thinking, man, maybe because we still had this back debt, we were selling like beasts, right? And I wasn't even focusing on trying to be a team. I don't like to talk about myself. Like, this is an anomaly. Like, I don't like to get on. And when we had been at convention and one of the other days and we were sitting there, that's when they announced the 6-figure Bling Boss Award. Prior to this happening, we were going to open up a whole nother business.
Yeah.
We were going to come home. I had already been working with vendors. We were going to open up another website selling different product. I'd never compete. I follow compliance. But we were going to do this. I had already bought quite a bit of merchandise. I thought, if I can do this with Paparazzi, why aren't we going higher profit margin, you know? Which was so stupid. Yeah. It was stupid because anything that I picked doesn't hit every target market like Paparazzi does, right? And we were making a killing on sales. Imagine it. Literally, my PV that year was 95,000. 95,000. So we had sold 42,500 pieces of jewelry in the first Paparazzi calendar year.
That's not really starting until September.
And we had already bought the domain. We were going to create this website, and then they announced the Bling Boss Award. And both my husband and I watched as 38 girls climbed across that stage, and they had made over $100,000 off of their team just in commission in less than a year.
Yeah.
And we both had that aha moment and looked at each other and goes, why are we trying to focus on something else? Why aren't we bringing this home?
Yeah. Just do this 110%.
Do this, and look what we did with this. And I wasn't even trying. And I was in that like recruiting stump. Like, how do I get people, like you get this necklace glitter. Yes, you get more viewers, but I still had to open up my mouth.
Part of it is she's like super humble, and she doesn't like to talk about herself or her accomplishments. And I told her, I go, you're going to have to, I don't want to say necessarily brag, but you have to go on there and you have to tell people what you've accomplished, what you've done, and explain to them that you know how to get there and you can help them. So that's kind of been our thing. Like, she'll say,
thank goodness.
I can give you the tools. You just have to pick up the tools and use them. But and that's the thing, getting her to get past that, where she's very humble about it, not wanting to talk about herself and not wanting to feel like she's bragging. To get past that and say, okay, I'm not bragging. I'm sharing a gift that I have with other people, and I'm helping them, giving them the same opportunity for independence that you have, that they can, God forbid if their family is facing some kind of a health crisis or financial crisis or whatever, look what she's been able to do, and she knows how she got there. So you pick up the tools she gives you, you can get there too. And so it was understanding it in that way.
The best thing about this was that through this all, there's a lot of people that are able to achieve things like I have, but they don't know how they did it. Right. I mean, I have like a step-by-step roadmap of how I did it. It was hard work. This was not easy. Because
there was so much success and failure and trial and error and everything else along the way.
Exactly. And so what had happened, we saw the Bling Bosses. We both looked at each other, already bought $4,000 of the product, been on the phone, gotten licensing and all this other things for us to have this business. Looked at each other and said, we're not doing it.
Right.
At the same time, like simultaneously, like we shared a brain, we're like, oh, this is not going to happen. And that was when we set our paths. I said, I want to be a Bling Boss. I want to be a Bling Boss. I said, I can do that. Because when you look up at that stage, you realize there is not one single walk of life. I hear people say, well, I just don't think I'm pretty, so I don't get viewers. Bull. You don't have to be skinny. You don't have to be tall. You don't have to be this. There is somebody out there that relates exactly to who you are and will shop from you. And that was what really was eye-opening. It was all shapes, colors, sizes, you name it. And I said,
be yourself, and you have to work hard.
It wasn't like, what do they have that I don't have? It's like, what are they doing that I'm not doing?
That's how we looked at it. Yeah.
And so I said to Michael, I talked to Lisa, and I talked to a friend of mine, Heidi Baum, that won the necklace, and she had already had a nice team going. And I said, Heidi, how did you do it? Because Heidi had won that award with me, and once you win a Z collection with somebody, you guys are like sisters. And she says,
Crystal says you might have a wardrobe malfunction. I can't see because of the comments.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Crystal.
The comments are blocking.
So I talked to Heidi, and I was like, how'd you do it? Like, she goes, do you ever talk about yourself? I'm like, no. She's like, you don't talk about your accomplishments? And she's like, I said, no. I said, I'm not a person that likes to talk about me or my accomplishments or breaks. She goes, well, you better start. She's like, you want to be a bling boss, you best get up there and be able to tell them what you did. She goes, you don't have anything to slouch about. She goes, do you realize how few people have won a necklace in the entire company? Do you know what it takes to win a necklace? Did you see yourself sitting on that stage with 5 other girls and myself, and all of them had done this for 7 years? Now tips. Gosh, you're gonna make me
But when you
blush.
shake the camera, I'd like it from here, but it'll shake the camera like that.
I still do Facebook Lives now. We've gone through health conditions. Our children, you have to understand the impact of walking in and seeing somebody who's been the person in your life, the stature of your family, and to see them laying in a bed. That's rough on our kids. We've suffered depression with our children. That creates behavioral problems sometimes. I have to be, overall, I am a mom. Number one, I am not Marissa of the Marissa. I am a mother. But I understand my obligations to people that have signed with me, and I make the choice of whether I'm going to go live or I'm going to support my team. And I choose my team because I can still make income off of the channels that I have created by doing this so long, and the consistency and the customer base that I have built. So I do Facebook Lives. We have gone back, our next live is Tuesday, and we are going to start a 2-day-a-week schedule. And I was doing like 5 days a week. Let me tell you, I sold a lot of jewelry last year. They're going to wait till you see me up on that stage this year, because I'm sure they're going to say what I sold. And Geraldine will probably be right there next with me, right? And she also won a necklace with me. But as soon as I opened up my mouth, I said to my husband, I said to Lisa, I said, I really want to be elite. That's what my house is like, Tiffs. Tears to laughter all the time,
The
girl.
story of our life, seriously.
And so I said, I really want to be elite. I had already told Lisa, I said, things got all crazy before convention, and I didn't get to make that elite summit. And I said, but I'm going to be elite this year. And I'm going to start recruiting. And she's like, really? Because she knew, I was like, I got to recruit. I don't know if I can do this. And, and I said, I'm going to start recruiting. And so I did. And I was elite in October. I actually double ranked twice. Within the period of August, September, and October, I double ranked twice. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give my team all the tools. I'm going to be hands-on with them, and I am going to train them like nobody's business to do this. I know, this is the crown.
Stella pinned it in there pretty well. So
Yeah, this is the Swarovski, all Swarovski crystals. I've only wore it one time because it's my pride and joy. It's worth more to me than my college degrees. It's just not worth more than my family. So, because it symbolizes everything, my trials and tribulations, and the strength that I had to have to work it and build it and not give up to me. And it was a lot of work. I don't ever advertise that this is a magic button, but what I do advertise is that I can give you the roadmap. Are you willing to make the journey? Do you want to make this journey? Because I'm going to tell you, if you put in the work, you are going to get everything out of it that you put in. But you need to be all in, like I was. I was all in. I knew the possibilities of this product. I knew the quality of the product. I knew that it hit every market, and I knew the price point was on. So the only thing that was stopping me was me, and I had to quit stopping me. So
you took that passion that you had for it and the belief in the product,
and then when
you converted that to your drive.
But then what it really came down to is, how many other people are in a situation like me that they need to be at home? They need to be at home with their family. They need to be at home with their kids. They need to, maybe they have a husband that's sick. Maybe the income has been lax, And I looked at the customers and the relationships and the friendships that I had made through this. I have better friends now. I've had friends since high school. Most people don't. I mean, even though I wasn't talking to them when I got married, we were very close to each other. I've had friends that long. I can't tell you, hi Vicky, Beach Barbie, I can't tell you how much I value my friendship with Lisa. Like, I feel like she's a sister to me.
Awesome.
I can't tell you how many of the girls on my team, how many connections I have with customers. Like, if I don't see them for a little while and I know there's a problem, I get scared, you know? And part of me is, JT, Jaeger bombs, Molly, like, honestly, I've developed such relationships with the people, and I care so much about people. And I felt like this is not just selling jewelry, right? This isn't selling a dream. It's giving you your dream. If you have worked for somebody and you work your butt off and you never get recognized, if you are not making the wage that you need to make, you know, the world is your oyster. And the world is your oyster. This job is your oyster. This company cares about you. In the time period that I have been doing this, not only did they create a rank for me, I have also won a trip to the Dominican Republic where they paid for one of our airfares and they paid for my whole stay. Yeah. And I won the portion of the airfare, but however, every consultant can earn it. I have taken a shopping spree, and it was amazing. I called my husband and my mother that night because she's still a naysayer and says I shouldn't sell this jewelry. And I said, she's like, why are you crying? And I said, because I'm in tears. I've worked for so many name companies, great benefits, huge salaries. I have never worked for anybody that cared about us like this. Right. And so I can't say enough good things about the company. I can't say enough good things about what they do for us. They know us. When you go to convention, if you have never been there before, do not be surprised when you look and the founder is sitting next to you. Do not be surprised when they're walking around and taking selfies with you in the Bougie Boutique. Right. Do not be surprised if they know who you are, because they watch us. Oh,
yeah, that was
pretty They knew Michael's name before I ever introduced him. They knew who he was. Yeah. I've been at Elite, and I've seen a girl get up from the table, and one couple was talking to the husband, and, you know, they said, oh, well, who's your wife? And Misty will go, oh, he's married to Rebecca. You know Rebecca, right? And the husband just looked, this is Mike, and he's married to Rebecca. And everybody at the table is just jaw-dropping. And,
they're just real. They're just real people.
Right now, we have quite a few people in our downline. I think we are at 200. But I will say, I made the Elite rank with 55 girls on my team. And that's because I actually gave them the tools to sell the jewelry. Don't just go out and buy. I don't throw anybody out away. I am not about numbers. I am about people. Yep. It is never about a paycheck. It is always about the person. And I made Elite with 55 on my team. I made Fashionista with 95, and I thought that was normal. I had no idea that was such a small team to do it with.
Meanwhile, you're double ranking twice.
Yeah, right. And I double ranked with them, you know, and the whole time I'm just cheering them on, and I share my customer base with them. I have no problem. I tell all my customers, you will see me share the videos onto my business page and into my jewelry group. Hey, Faye. And I said, I will always, always, always put Team Diamond Dolls at our motto, build each other up. So many of us women nowadays want to tear each other down. Did you see what she was wearing? Did you see what she said? You know she's dating such and such. I don't want to do that. I learned a long time ago, for me to get out of bed, for me to be something to my children, that I had to be positive. We shut off the news. We'd cut out the doctors. Mm-hmm. And I only allow positivity on my team. And I believe in building each other up. Listen, there are plenty of jewelry monsters out there for everybody. I have heard different compliments or different critiques that, oh, you know, it's really saturated. Go out on the street, ask 50 people if they have heard of Paparazzi. I bet you'd be lucky to find 3.
Exactly.
3. So don't tell me it's oversaturated. You're just not doing the work to get yourself out there.
That's right.
And that is part of what I train on, and I present challenges for my team. And so I always, always, always encourage people. If you've thought about doing this, if you've wanted to do this, what are you waiting for? If you want to change your life, get off the chair and change your life.
Gotta do the work.
If you want to save your family, get off the chair and save your family.
No.
This is not, there's no dead ends to this. They give, they give, they give, they give more. They never take away. I am just flabbergasted when I hear all the time, my mother still tells me, so when are you going to go back to the law firm? Well, you want to know why? This is why. Because my mother thinks it sounds a lot better that I work for the Supreme Court, state of Michigan, instead of that I sell $5 fabulous jewelry. And you know what I say? I'm going to wear my crown all the way to the bank. Right. I am just going to bring it home every day, and I'm going to keep bringing this experience to other people. And I don't care. I have lived my whole life for other people. I've taken care of my brother's kids all through high school, till high school. My father died when I was 19. I've taken care of my mother. Now my husband's sick. I have taken care of everybody else my whole life and worried what everybody else thought at that law firm. Wearing, I better wear that $300 suit.
You had to. You had to. It was
but
part of the job.
I learned that why am I not being true to me? Why can't I listen to me and know I can do this? Because I could. I sat there and I talked myself out of recruiting. I was so afraid of recruiting. I was afraid and was going to do another business. Right. And so I had to say, I was like, flabbergasted. I was holding myself back. And the only person holding you back is you.
You were holding yourself back because of your humility, and I'm not trying to placate to her or anything. This is really how I feel about her. She's a very humble person, and she's not like talking about herself or her accomplishments because she feels like she's bragging. But it's getting past that point to say, it's not bragging. It's saying, okay, this is what I did, and I can get you there too if you do what I did, and it's being able to reproduce what you did. And she's got this stack of
This is my stack of awards that I have received this year from doing this business. Each one of them means something to me because each one of them was a step on my journey. Every time that I see somebody on my team succeed, every time that I see and I know that look, they had to do the work. That is not me. Nobody's success or failure is on one person. Right. You know what? I did not succeed because of Lisa. However, Lisa gave me the tools to succeed, so Lisa was a part of it. But I had to do the work. Right. And so every time I see somebody on my team reach one of their goals or succeed, like, I'm dying inside. It is the most rewarding thing. So initially I started this out to take care and feed my family, right? She
gets more excited than, sorry to keep interrupting, but when one of her girls does something or hits a milestone or whatever, like Natasha made the necklace, I mean, she gets more excited for them than she does for herself. I mean, she literally wants to have everybody on her team do better than her. And that's not something that you hear a lot out of anybody who's in any kind of position over anybody else. I mean, she wants everybody to succeed more than her, and it's awesome.
I realized how many rock stars I really have on my team, and I feel like if they do better than me, then I've done my job.
No.
I don't care if they hit ranks higher than me. I don't care. So, it's my job. So we decided this year, because we were trying to develop incentive programs for our team, we created what's called Diamond of the Month. And you guys will see on my business page, Jennifer Myers, who I selected. Now, some people on my team, or outside of my team may have thought, oh, that's her personally sponsored. Of course she's going to promote her. She's not my personally sponsored. She's actually 3 levels down from me. However, I look at every person on my team, no matter if I sign them or not, or if they're 4 levels down, I look at them as individuals, right? Because I'm looking at people. I'm investing in people, not in a paycheck. So we decided, they're diamond dolls. You're a doll for me. It doesn't matter if I signed you or not. And so I have a contest going in which I'm trying to promote Jennifer Meyer because I know how hard she works. She's gone out of her way to put into this business, and she sees the bigger picture. She doesn't ever see defeat, and she is very inspiring. And so that you'll see a contest on my page to like her business page. And I'm giving out a bunch of free jewelry to do it. Just go like it, There's 3 different chances to win. And Natasha, when Natasha told me she was going to go for a necklace, and mind you, lots of people have told me they're going to go for it. Thank you, Courtney. I had lots of people tell me that they were going to go for it, but when Natasha did, she went for it. She literally knew. She would call me up and she'd be like, I'm so exhausted. I'm like, go live. And she's like, what? I'm like, it's go live time. Oh. I'm like, if you want that necklace, this is serious. Like, this is the fiercest competition there is. You deserve a necklace because I know you'll work for it. Go live. And she did. So the last day of Natasha's live, I showed up to her, last 2 days. I saw that she was doing really good, and she was in second. And I could see, and then all of a sudden the last week came out and we had no other updates that were coming, and she fell. She like fell to 5th. And I was like, oh, heck no. And I told my customers, I said, you know what? I said, we can't go live. I said, I'm sorry. I said, if you guys can all go support Natasha and help me. I said, but I got to stick with her. So all in all, Natasha, amazing person. Altogether that month, she signed 92 consultants. 92 in 1 month.
It's crazy.
When I saw this happening, I was like, oh my God, you know? And that's when I said, when I saw her slip in the ranks, like she was locked into a necklace. And when I saw her slip down and have 3 days left, I said, oh, sorry guys. To my customers, I said, come help me. Let's help her. She does the work. And so I actually went to Natasha's live. I sat on Natasha's double lives for 2 days, which I can't sit. If you know my family life, that's like impossible, 8 hours. Like I had shipping to do. And so I sat on Natasha's live for 2 days. I gave her 18 signups that made up part of that 92 because I knew she deserved it. She did the work. This is hard work.
Like, who does that? I say to her all the time, like, who does that? You give away 18 signups, but she saw that Natasha was giving everything that she had. Marissa gave her the tools. Natasha hit the ground running. She was giving everything she had, so Marissa gave what she had. That's just how she is.
So the point is that if I see somebody fighting and if I see somebody working hard, then I'm going to fight and I'm going to work hard for you. I always tell everybody, people have this misconception that you have to sign up under somebody that is in your area. I have 2 people on my team that have ever come to my home. They're more than welcome to. 3 people.
Yeah.
We right now have 286 because of Natasha. She is more personally sponsored than I do. Oh well, good for her. Go girl.
Walking into fast food places and signing people up for like, who would have thought? I would have never thought of that. You walk in there, do you like your job? No? Well, why don't you start selling $5 jewelry? Yada, yada, yada. And she signed people up that way. Like, that's amazing.
So, I can only say that if you guys have ever thought about doing this, if you have a dream, do not be afraid to dream it. Do not let somebody tell you, oh, it's $5 jewelry, you can never do it. Because if I would have listened to that, we wouldn't live in this house.
Right.
Michael would be in a home. And my kids would have lost all their friends and family. Right, because Michael probably would be dead if he had to go to a home. Can you imagine? So I'm telling you, it doesn't matter if the person's right here. I give regular training. I present challenges. I call them, I was joking because I did a training for Lisa's team the other day, and my team obviously is part of Lisa's team, so everybody was there, and I said, we present these challenges, and I said, we're like Mr. Miyagi-ing you, I'm like, we are like wax on, wax off. I said, because these challenges, you think you're like going for this pretty prize, but guess what? I just taught you how to sell.
Right.
Guess what? I just taught you how to recruit.
We were watching the YouTube show, that Cobra Kai show, and when we were talking about it, it was about the the Karate Kid. We're like,
still got Baby Shark going on.
Did you see that?
No.
That's our throwback to Florida when they wanted to buy the sharks and the thing.
Yeah, it was like in juice.
It was super gross.
It was formaldehyde. They had baby sharks that they killed on purpose for tourists to take home, and Stella wanted, and Jack wanted one, and I said, "Oh, we don't kill animals."
Yeah, we're not like they're fun to kill.
They already were dead, so.
Well, I don't care. That just encourages them to kill more.
We could bury them on the back.
So anyway, we don't need any more animals. So anyway, but no, we were watching that Cobra Kai show, and we were talking about it, and we're like, you're not teaching them to wax the car or sand the floor. But yeah, they're going to wax the car and sand the floor until they realize that, wait a minute, I'm not waxing the car and sand the floor. I'm selling jewelry, and I'm getting the tools to do it.
So my business page is Marissa's Bling on a Budget. My jewelry group is Marissa's Bling on a Budget. We do lots of fun contests. We're doing one for Jennifer. I encourage all of you, please, to enter it. Just share the post. You get 2 entries. I really want to help her out because she's worked hard, and I believe in that. I don't think I fought tooth and nail to get here because I had to try everything under the sun.
I can pin the YouTube real quick.
And so I have a YouTube. It's Marissa's Bling on a Budget. Lisa Abercrombie, just like Abercrombie and Fitch is her last name. She has a YouTube channel. Mel's her cousin. So I am telling you, we are going to start doing training on my business page regularly. In fact, we are planning one for this week. And the one for this week is actually going to be on doing the value of a business page versus a jewelry group and what you utilize for each one of them. Also, I have a website. If you guys are just jewelry junkies, go check out my website because I have over 10,000 different pieces of paparazzi. We have plans to all go to convention this year, and that is on our list, and we are going to get it done. There's Natasha, who I was just talking about, the amazing girl. We're going to get it done. We don't make plans like we're going to die. We make plans like we're living.
We can't, because if we didn't, we wouldn't be here right now if we planned like we were going to die.
Exactly. So we always continue to make plans. We've bought tickets to go on the Paparazzi cruise, although we've already earned one of them in less than a month, in a couple of weeks. So all I have to say is, if you guys have thought about doing this, if you have a dream, don't. Jason says hi to us.
Hey, Jason.
If you guys have, we love you, Jason. We were talking about you too.
Can't wait to see you guys.
Veronica. So, if you guys have a dream and if you want to do this, don't let somebody tell you that you can't do it. If I listened to everybody, I never would have won a necklace. I never would have made a lead. If you let somebody else stunt who you are and what you need to get done, then you failed yourself. Don't fail yourself.
You're letting other people write your story.
You can make money. I was being very successful just off of sales doing this. I gave up eBay, which is $100,000 I made off of eBay a year.
Which was a big safety net to give up too.
Which was a big safety net and a big it's really there.
Right. We're really doing this now. eBay's all went to the Salvation Army, so.
Right. And when I was at the Salvation Army's in my garage still, that Michael's like, we're moving to Florida. We need to get rid of that, because that's my next dream. So I appreciate, and Michael and Stella appreciate you guys coming and watching and hearing our show. You got to do a share drawing. The necklace.
Can I do it?
Yeah, let me write the names down.
Sweet.
Michael is going to draw for the Marissa. If you know somebody that my story can help or encourage, a lot of us have always been put into a place by somebody else. Tiffany! A lot of people have been told that they can't do something or they don't feel the confidence in it. And, I am not just building a team, I'm building people. I've had one-on-one talks. I talk to my team on a regular basis. Ask Stella to open up the cabinets for you.
That's it.
I talk to my team on a regular basis. If you honestly have thought about this, I'm your girl. If you don't think so and you have just questions, shoot me a message. We can talk. There's not like an obligation. I'm not one of those people that I'm going to harass you every minute and say, hey, you got to sign up today. Thank you. This is a people business, and if I can help people and if I can help them achieve what they want to achieve and they're willing to put in the work, then I'm super excited to do that. It means more to me to see them make their accomplishments than my own. We have a great team. You don't get to change sponsorship once you sign up. I'm very lucky. Absolutely, Veronica. I'm very lucky to have found out that Lisa was my upline. My team is now 285, I think, right around that number, 285, 290. It's very close to that. So, we like I said, we are going to be doing these training videos. They're going to take place on our business page. We've had a lot of people. I try to answer as many questions as possible, you guys, but you have to remember I help every person on my team, whether I sign them or not. I do regular training and my husband. So I have a strong devotion to my team because they selected me to lead them. And like I said, I have that YouTube channel. Michael's just writing down your name for the shares. He's getting it right now, and then we'll give away a Marissa. And I know this was a long video. Thank you guys for watching, but so many people are so curious about Michael, and usually he hasn't feel like getting up. And when I had planned on doing this ahead of time, and I didn't put the time because I was going to try to get him on the video with me. So I was ecstatic when he was like, I'm going to make cannolis. And I was like, good, you're going to go on the video with me. And he's like, what? And I'm like, these girls need to see who you are. So many people ask, and his health conditions have making him very swollen. He has very bad days. Sometimes he's with his ventilator all the time. So, Marcus, I already told you and your wife should do it. You couldn't get what? So I'm telling you guys, don't ever let your successes or failures rely on somebody else always know that you have it in you. And the best thing about my team is we all support each other. So it's not like you just get me for a support system. We have 110 girls that are actively selling on the team. A lot of people sign up for the discount. You can absolutely do that too. For $99, you can save money a whole year on it, or even longer, depending if you bought that whole year and what you bought. So we have about 110 girls that are actively selling. In fact, there's a sales challenge going on in my team right now. I have to see where we're at when we're done. But we all work together, and that's what makes us different. We all know each other. The people that want to do this, we value this, we work together. We got you, Rose. Don't worry, he's going right to the outside of the video and writing all your names down right now. Stella's helping him. So we value each other as women. We do not put each other down. I'm not going to say that we don't ever get into disagreements, but we agree to disagree. And it makes a huge difference with what you do with this company. It's a lot easier. I know a lot of people, they get signed up and they were signed up for a number. I'm not about the number. I'm always, always, always about the people. I wouldn't be true to myself. And I always believe, Vicky, I love you too, Kathy. I always believe, Kathy's like one of my best friends. I made her through Paparazzi. She's like my sister. We're gonna get old. We're gonna go live in the villages together. We're gonna wear funny clothes and mismatched jewelry, and we're gonna just live it up. But the people and the ties that you can make from doing this, the ability that you have to feed. This isn't just selling jewelry. It's not a magic button. There is work involved, but you can do it. And we're here to help you do it and to give you the tools and to give you the maps to do it. Hi, Trisha. So it's all on you. It's what you want and how hard you want it. But if you're doing the work, I'm not going to leave you behind. I won't. You almost done?
Yeah, just grab another pair so I can help her cut.
So we're going to give away the Marissa, because like I said, if you guys shared, that helps because it could be helping somebody else. I know what my purpose here is on earth, to make sure I get in heaven with my husband. Okay. So we've got to help each other out and build each other up, and that's what we do. Yeah, I love Lisa. Lisa's one of my dearest friends. Like, I'm so proud. I'm so thankful that, they always say, whatever happens, like if you can find the good in some kind of a bad situation, then it's the best thing out there. And so every time something bad happens to me, I can always find the good. Thank you, Pamela. Girl, you don't have to tell me. It's my favorite necklace. This is the Life of the Party necklace. This is available for pre-order in my jewelry group. Stella is wearing, and this is my ring. That is a Life of the Party pre-order.
I took them
And
off.
Stella was wearing the pre-order earrings for Life of the Party. And these are available on my website, marissasblingonabudget.com. So, girl, trust me, I had to buy 500 of them before they left because they're no longer available. We will post the link to our jewelry group after. Anybody who's thought about signing up that just wants to have a conversation with me or ask questions about doing so, then please give me a message. Stella G. No, you can't look in the box. Not that you know any of them. So I always make it that the person has to be here. There's always a silver lining. Always a silver lining. That's why I say don't ever feel bad for me.
Got it.
Well, you got to give it to me.
Oh.
Who is it?
Brenda.
Gavigan?
Yeah.
Brenda Gavigan. My handwriting's atrocious.
Brenda, girlfriend, are you here still? I just saw her 5 seconds ago.
I think she's still here.
If Brenda's here, Brenda, you actually won the Marissa, and I'll ship that out to you Monday, because we don't have shipping until Monday. So if you guys, like I said, if you guys have thought about doing this, and if you want to join a team, we don't work as individuals, we work as a team. Congratulations, Brenda. Then please just send me a message. You can do it just by clicking the introduction. My business page is right there. It'll send it to it. If you can only click my name, send it to me private message. And there's no obligation. But I seriously believe we need to help other people, and a lot of people may be in my situation. You want to say goodbye to them?
Yep. Thank you, everybody, for everything. I mean, we're
We
here.
can't do this without you.
Right. We're here. We realize we're not here on our own. We're here because of God's grace, number one, every single day. But we're here because of all of you guys who are, continually supportive, not only with buying jewelry and showing up, but just
Mentally
the kind
supportive. This
words.
is my therapy.
Yeah, like seriously, like when she gets out, our live, and she's like, "This is my therapy." She's not lying. This really is her therapy.
I get to see all my friends in one place. I was having
Right.
a bad day. You guys cheer me up just as much as you say I cheer you up.
Right. Whatever you say she's doing for you, you guys are doing for us. I mean, in so many different ways. And I never thought that selling $5 jewelry could be such a blessing, could change our lives the way it has.
And others.
And others' lives. I mean,
It's so much more than jewelry.
it's nuts. I mean, it's like I said, I thought I was helping people by selling them houses. Like, that is like nothing compared to what.
I had to
what we're
say this
doing here.
too. When they start handing out the swag to us, Michael's like, I sold $1 million houses.
Right.
I got an acrylic trophy.
Like, maybe.
Like an acrylic trophy this big.
It's up on the cabinet.
He's
I
like,
don't know where it is.
We're getting on the plane. He's like, you're wearing like a 5-pound Swarovski crystal crown.
They gave her a mink
We had
robe
to
at
buy
the
two
last thing.
suitcases to go home. He's like, I sold $1 million houses. You sell $5 jewelry.
Right.
And she freaks
Like, the
out.
swag is nuts. Like, even if you're going to
The
convention.
founders are nuts. They're
Oh,
crazy. They
the
inspire me
best.
beyond belief.
Yeah, they really are. I've never seen business owners like this, and I've worked directly with a lot of business owners. Never seen people that are like this. Oh,
So take the plunge
yep.
and pick me.
Thank you guys for watching.
Bye, you guys. Have a great night. Bye, Stella, with your shark bite.
And Land Shark.
Yes, and land shark.
Adam. His name is Adam.
Aw, thank you, you guys.
Thank you guys.